next storyteller is a 7-time Moth Slam winner. There's a documentary being made about her called The Fabulist. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the Artichoke, my dear friend, the radiant Sandi Marx.
So I think it was 1980. I'm not really sure because I was stoned all the time, but I think it was 1980. And I'm coming out of the 3rd Avenue subway, the 53rd Street. I think it was an E train. And I catch my reflection in one of those big corporate office buildings. And I am so damn sexy. I know you're not that surprised. Okay, I am so sexy. I am wearing, at this point, a tube top. Do you remember those? Tube top. And a very short skirt, and we wore these shoes that were called candies. I don't know if anyone remembers those. When you wore them, you were like a horse clomping down the street. And I don't know how they stayed on our feet because there was very little leather. It was just like wood, high heels, and I had so much hair, high, wide, big. It was, Phil Spector, that's what I used to say. I look like Phil Spector, or Don King, big. And I thought I was just everything. And I was like, But the truth was, that was total bullshit because I was the biggest loser. I had come out of the subway because I still lived in my childhood bedroom. And my mother had packed my lunch for my job, which was sitting in my bag, throbbing. It was like in a paper bag. It was some like greasy tuna sandwich with a big greasy spot with an apple that had attacked it. So it was like one big mushy. It was a mess. It smelled like catnip in there. And I was going to a job, a dead-end job at Herman's World of Sporting Goods. Do you guys Okay. Now what made it worse is I worked in what they called, this is not a lie, the fashion department. They had a fashion department, and there is nothing fashionable about a tennis dress with big pockets that say, I have balls. It was really, they used to sell like a whole rack of sherbet-colored like warm-up suits that were fashioned by German tourists and my parents. My mother claimed whenever she would fly down to Fort Lauderdale that she needed to wear a warm-up suit because it was so comfortable, like she was like gonna do a 30-yard dash or something around the Delta terminal. I don't know, people bought this shit. It was popular, and the store there was a chain, there was a big deal. And I had to work there, and I hated it. And I worked for a woman named Barbara, and Barbara looked like Ursula in The Little Mermaid. And she was like the shape of an isosceles triangle and like a muumuu. And she had the gall to wear a high ponytail in her 50s. If you're at that age and you're not that good looking, don't wear a goddamn ponytail, a high one. You're not going to be going out for the junior varsity cheerleading team. It's not appropriate. And then she painted on her eyebrows in one of those really high penciled arches. So she always looked astonished. Like, she's like, and she was so mean, and she would yell rhetorical questions at me like, why are you so stupid? Like, how do you answer that one? I don't know. I used to like try to come up with something, but I couldn't. Or why can't you do anything right? I don't know. And what I couldn't do right was I had to put alarm tags on every pair of these lime green golf pants. Who's going to steal these golf pants? And there were racks and racks of them. It was just the worst, soul-sucking, horrible job. And she thought I was just, and we had to wear, thank God, I didn't have to just show up in the tube top and that was the costume because she would have told me I was a whore, get out. But we wore smocks, like Costco smocks with our names on them. So we were like schlumping around all day. Everybody in the store was so sad. There was like a little workroom where people would have their break. It was like the break room, the stock room, and all the stock guys were just sitting there smoking. They all looked like they were waiting for their execution. It was a horrible place. Horrible. But I was in a good mood on this one particular hot summer day because I knew that I was preparing for a third date with Robert, the law student. And I don't think I need to tell you what a third date means. I was going to go on my lunch break across the street to the rainbow shops to buy underpants and a brassiere because it was the third date and they were going to drop, okay? Because I had my candies in my tube top. That's what a girl does. I was a strumpet, okay? We're old enough to remember what a strumpet is. So I'm very excited. So I'm thinking, screw Barbara. I'm not going to let anybody in this store get to me. I will do what I need to do. I will clip on those alarm tags all morning long because at noon I'm running over there. Okay, so noon comes. I can't wait. I'm going to go over there. I need to get new stuff, and I'm so excited. And it's super hot. So I get across the street. It's I think it was 3rd Avenue and like 52nd Street, big store. And I open up the door, and I'm hit with like a waft of air conditioning and the Bee Gees. And it's beautiful. It's an oasis. It's just racks and racks of casual separates and khaki pants and like culottes and capris and all sorts of fabulousness. And I make a beeline right over for the bras and the underwear. And they're on like matching racks because I'm figuring, like back in those days, we like to be like matchy-matchy. I was tacky, what can I say? Okay, so I'm looking and I find, and this is before Wonder Bras. There wasn't a lot of Wonder back in the 80s. Instead, I think it was like Playtex Crush Your Heart or something with padding. So I'm finding the 34Bs. I'm going through there and I'm just looking through stuff and I'm pulling. And then I'm finding the matching underwear. And I pulled Days of the Week underpants because I was super classy. And I thought, oh, I'm going to wear Thursday. This is going to be really good. So I pulled that. And I'm thinking I should try the bras on. And there were only maybe 3 or 4 other people in the store. It's kind of quiet. It's a slice of heaven in there. I mean, if you haven't been to a rainbow shop, there's still a couple around. It's like the Blockbuster of clothing. I think there's 1 or 2 around. You should go. Okay, so I'm doing all that. And then all of a sudden, the door opens again. More hot air comes in, only this time it's a dude. And he definitely didn't look like he was shopping there for a date. He was like greasy hair, dirty clothes. He had like beady little eyes. I knew something was up, like he could just smell it. And sure enough, he walks into the store and the cash register's up front. And he says right away, out loud, "Give me all your money. I've got a gun and I'm not afraid to shoot it." He says this to the cashier and you could see the color draining from her face. She's like, she doesn't know what to do. And then he swings around and he points the gun right in my face. And he says, "Put your hands up." It's like watching, I don't know, like Hawaii Five-0 or something, or whatever we were watching back then. So so there are only like 3 of us there. I pick up my hands. In my right hand are 2 34B bras. They're fiber-fill, little lace, dégagé, a little something. And in my left hand, Monday through Sunday, size small underpants, and I'm holding it. And all I'm thinking is, holy shit, this is my last day on earth. I'm going to die in a rainbow shop. And my mother, when they call her, they're going to ask for a photograph. And she's going to find like some wanky high school yearbook picture. That's what they're going to run in the Daily News. Girl shot in the rainbow shop holding her bras in her underpants. And I'm thinking, this is not the way I want to go. This is not my last day on earth. And I'm shaking. And the other 2 people in the store, they're kind of nervous, but they're not holding up as much merch as I am. I don't know what they're holding. Okay, so this is going on, and he's just standing there while the girl's in the register, and he's with the gun, and it looks real. What do I know? I'm assuming it was real. And then all of a sudden, within 5 minutes less, it was probably 3 minutes, 2 cops come busting in, and they say, "Get down on the ground now." So I do, because I don't know who they're referring to, and I'm not taking any chances. So I go straight down like an army crawl, and I start like crawling towards the fitting rooms, thinking I can like get away with something. And then I start looking around, and they do not vacuum at the rainbow shop. I'm looking down, and there's like an old cigarette butt, because you used to be able to smoke wherever you could like smoke in the doctor's office. Nobody gave a shit. So it's like dirty, and I'm like, and I don't know what to do. So I lay there, and I press my face to the dirty carpet with my hands out, Days of the Week underpants, bras, and all of a sudden I'm hearing the sweet, sweet sounds of those Bee Gees, and I start singing along, "Staying alive, staying alive, whoop, whoop." And meanwhile, I notice that I'm looking at ankles and calves, because I'm the only one down on the ground. Everybody else is standing up. And so the cop yells at me, "Not you, him. They've already got him cuffed." I'm still lying there. I'm not taking any chances. This is, "You can get up now, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm 21 years old." So I slowly get up. I'm still clenching on of all the merch that I'm thinking really can't buy this now. How can I buy this? This is tainted goods. So I put them back on the rack. I figure if Robert really likes me, he doesn't care about my underwear, right? Guys don't really give a shit about the underwear. So I put it all back, and I'm shaking, and I asked the cashier, how did the cops get here so fast? And she said, oh, well, I have a panic button. I thought, oh, of course, she has a panic button. That's what you're supposed to have. Okay. So, all right. Now, the perp leaves, the cops leave, the customers are all kind of talking about it, and I am shaking, and I'm thinking, something in my life has to change. This is not good to leave yourself in this kind of peril in a life that your psyche is already shot because of what's across the street. So I march back across the street, and I get right up in Barbara's grill. I take the smock that I had laid there, and I hand it to her, and I say, Barbara, I quit. And she looks totally shocked. I think it was the eyebrows. I'm not really sure. She's still up there. I don't know. I said, I can't work for you anymore. You're just not that nice, and this is just not worth it. And I just stormed out. I had no plan. I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. I had no money. Obviously, I live at home where, could not. But all I could think about was I was more in the mindset that if I'm going to die, it was going to be the hand of this isosceles triangle with eyebrows than it is a guy with a gun in the rainbow shops. And is that how I want to spend my time, being berated by a woman who can't even, give me one moment of kindness? So that was it. And then I got other menial jobs that were just as soul-sucking. I'm not going to say I didn't. But I never, ever let anybody treat me like that again, ever. And I would never treat anybody like that. And I'm sure nobody else here would either, because honestly, it would be more worth it to be shot in a rainbow shop than to be treated like that by a girl named Barbara. Thank you.